are going to make beer can chicken. And for those of you that have listened to the podcast before, we've talked about brining. So we're going to start off by showing you how easy it is to brine a chicken. Brining a chicken will give you tremendous restaurant quality type effect. It will make it much more moist, much more juicy. You'll like it a lot better. 1 gallon container. We have salt. Oops, sorry. We have salt and we have sugar.
What kind of salt?
That's kosher salt, and you told me kosher salt's important. Why is kosher salt important?
Well, you can use other salt, but you have to adjust the measurements if you do.
Okay.
It's important using this recipe to use kosher salt, and Morton is preferred. Diamond Crystal has different measurements than other kosher salts.
Okay.
So, what do you have here?
I've got 3/4 of a cup of kosher salt and 3/4 of a cup of sugar.
And that's just normal table sugar.
Normal, regular old granulated sugar.
Okay.
And then 2 chickens.
2 chickens.
About 3 3/4 pounds apiece.
But is this enough salt and sugar for 2 chickens?
No, this is enough for 1. We're just going to prepare 1. So,
okay.
I'm going to take the
what
salt.
Are we doing? What size is that container again?
It's 1 gallon. And I'm going to take the sugar. And you'll see when we put the chickens in later why that's important.
Let me see.
Okay? Salt and sugar.
Salt and sugar.
Now, we're going to cheat because we have this fancy-dancy instant hot water deal that we're going to use this to help dissolve the salt and sugar. You can do something on the stove, or you can just do it with cold water, but it won't dissolve as well if you do it.
Right. More salt dissolves into hot water than into cold water. So we just do this as a means of speeding the process. That
should be about enough. All right, so I'm going to stir this up.
So the goal is to get all of the salt and sugar dissolved into the water. Stir, 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 stir.
Compelling podcast video of salt stirring.
It might not all dissolve, but we're going to add more cold water. Yeah. And once we do, we'll have
if you look in
more
there,
volume.
It's dissolved enough.
It's mostly dissolved.
So now I'm going to fill up with enough cold water to get this thing about 1/2 to 2/3 full. A little closer
Let's
to
go
half.
with about half, because the volume of the chicken is going to displace the water, and it will suddenly be full once we add the chicken in.
That's probably plenty. All right, and I'm going to stir this up.
You want all of your solids dissolved in your water.
All right.
Okie dokie. Alright, and we're back. The chicken has been removed from the bag. The gizzard, neck, and other parts bag has been removed from the chicken. Tim is now rinsing the chicken under cold running water, just to make sure any ickies are off of it. And he's going to take the pitcher with the brine mixture in it.
It doesn't matter which direction I put him in here. This is just easiest. But as you see, that sucker was half full, and now that pitcher's just about full.
Now you have a science experiment of a chicken in a pitcher.
So I'm going to take the pot.
And let me do from the top. There we go. There's the chicken.
Okay.
Covered in brine. Put the top on it.
Take him. And I'm going to stick that sucker in the fridge for what?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half, 2 hours. You can do it overnight, but since we're trying to cook this afternoon.
It needs an hour and a half.
Right, so we'll do that. I'm going to do the other chicken, and what we'll do is we'll come back in a little while after the brining time's done, and we'll season up the chicken, and we'll show you how we can violate a chicken with a beer can. It'll be great fun. See you then. Alright, so it's been a couple of hours, and we have taken the chickens out of the refrigerator. And one of the points that we've realized that we didn't stress enough earlier was we put the chickens in the brine in the refrigerator, and you want to leave them in the refrigerator up until you're ready for this point. So, one of the reasons we really like these gallon pitchers is because I can now pour out all of this nasty chicken-laced water, and now I'll just have to clean up the pitcher after I'm done.
And the sink.
And the sink, yeah. Alright, so take the chicken out, and I'm going to set him in here. I'll pat him dry. Don't have to be perfect here, because we're getting ready to season the heck out of him. But get some of the water off. Alright. That will go away. Alright, so I am going to liberally sprinkle. Is this that rub that you did from your friend's recipe?
Mm-hmm. It's on the website.
Okay. This is the Novak rub?
It is the all-purpose barbecue rub.
Alright. Now, I'm getting ready to really start rubbing this in, but right now I want to just kind of get it spread so that I've got enough to rub around. And, alright, so I'm going to rub the outsides here. And I'm just basically trying to get some coverage. I mean, this is on the outside of the skin, so it's not going to make that big of a difference. But the thing I'm about to do will, which is, I'm going to put some inside, rub it in there, and now comes the part where I'm going to go into the skin. So, I'm going to try and get as far under here as you can. Break open a couple of little holes here. There we go. And I'm going to sprinkle some in there.
And try not to break the skin.
Try not to break the skin, yeah, very much so.
But you want the seasoning between the skin and the chicken meat.
Alright, and do the same thing from the back side. This is the one that's more important. And this is also the one where I tend to rip the skin a little bit.
That's where your thighs and legs are.
There we go. You see I've got my fingers all the way up like that. It's a little nasty, but you know, you'll get over it. Alright, oh, see, like, there we go. And moving a little faster than normal for video, but as a general rule, you get the picture what we're doing here. Alright. Alright. Rinse my hands off. And since I've been handling chicken, I am touching a towel. This towel is now considered evil and dirty, and aside from wiping my hands, will then quickly leave the kitchen. So, just a reminder. Alright, here's something you will rarely see in our house. This is Bud Light. I have it from a party. I don't normally have this, but it happens to be convenient. It is a lighter flavored beer, which is what we need here. And it's in a can.
Beer can chicken is a good use for cheap beer that you really don't want to drink.
Now normally, I would be pouring off half a beer so that I could enjoy it. Since this is Bud Light, I'm pouring off half a beer so that I can pour it on something. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Okay, I'm going to take the can.
Let's see what you're doing.
And I'm going to add some extra holes. And I'm doing this because we want the moisture from the beer as it heats up to have a way of getting into the inside of the chicken. I'm going to take some of this seasoning. Take some of the seasoning. And I'm going to pour it in the beer can. Now, I would strongly advise you to make sure that you have the level of your beer down to about half a can, and that you proceed slowly with putting these spices in. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I've already foamed up almost to the lid of the beer can. I've been known in the past to get a little too out of hand with this part, and managed to get the beer to foam all over the place.
Can you move that, please?
I'm going to move that. Alright. Now, at this point, if all I had was just the chicken and the beer can, I would take the chicken and I would put the beer can inside him and create a stand, which would be the beer can and the chicken. I, however, have a fancy stand because I cook these things a lot. So, I'm going to place the beer can in the stand. I'm going to take the chicken and I'm going to slide him down over the can. And there we go. He can stand up. I just happen to like to stand because then I can pick it up easily. We're going to take a little bit of a break and come back because I'm going to do another chicken and you really don't need to see me do this again. Next step, we'll take everything outside and we'll talk about what we do out there. Alright, so we've moved outside and this is our big green egg charcoal cooker. And we currently have it running up at about 350 degrees. And let me dance around you so we don't trip over the cat. There we go. Right.
Oh wait, where's the helper?
There's one right here. There's another one
Hiya,
over there.
kitty.
Over there to your left.
Hiya, kitty too.
All right.
Ginger, Cressley,
and Tim.
and Tim.
All right.
Big green egg and chickens.
Okay. So we've got the chickens out here. They're on the stand. Oh, good. You're gonna help.
Please take them down away from the chickens.
You don't necessarily have to. You don't necessarily have to do this with charcoal. You can do this on a gas grill or whatever else you want. But this just happens to be what we have and the way we like to do it. So, I'm going to take the chickens, and I am going to set them on the grill, and I'm going to get the cat out of the way. Now this is an important step that we've added to the recipe.
Sorry, kitty.
Alright, so the chickens are on the grill, and I have a bottle of butter spray. It's basically glorified popcorn butter at this point. This will allow the skins to crisp up and get nice and crunchy, and for those people that like skin, they really groove all over this part. So I am going to spray the chickens liberally. Sure, you could use olive oil for this if you wanted to. And this will allow them
This is a flavored butter oil or butter spray.
Yeah, this one's lemon herb. This should allow them to crisp up real nicely. So now I'm just going to close this sucker up. And we're going to try and keep the temperature between 300 and 350 degrees. You can go as short as probably 75 to 90 minutes. I typically go closer to 2.5 to 3 hours. It just takes on a better flavor over time. And alright, so it's been a couple of hours. It's actually been about 2.5 hours since we put these things in. So we're going to do the big reveal. We're going to open up the egg. So step on up. Let's see what they look like.
Slowly.
That would be pretty darn
chickeny.
Close to perfect. Now, we could test them at this point by twisting a leg to see if the bone would twist, but I can tell you based on experience from time and things, I know that they're done. And another sign that they're done, if you look at the back here, the skin is split. By the way, note that this is a fireplace glove on my hand. Stuff is hot. And these are sitting on cans of boiling hot liquid, so we're going to let this sit for a little while. First I'm going to lift it off. This is why I like this stand. We're going to take it inside, and we're going to let them sit for, I don't know, a good little while. Give them a chance to cool down a little bit, and then we can pull some of the meat off and check everything out and taste it, and we'll check back in with you in just a few minutes. Alright, so we've come inside, and Annette's going to just verify that everything is in fact hot enough. So she's checking. I'm going to go with that being pretty darn good. And where are you checking that?
In the thigh.
Checking it in the thigh. Okay. Get a couple more good views of these things. These things are just beautiful. So, anyway, there's our chicken. And we'll cut some up in a little while. Alright, so we've decided that we have absolutely zero patience because this smells so good. And we just brought this in just a couple minutes ago. And we've got to try a little bit of it because we love it. And we know it's going to be very moist and wonderful because of the brining. And Annette's going to dig in here. Get to where I can see what she's doing.
Just cutting a piece off the thigh.
Cutting a piece off the thigh. It's got a little bit of that reddish brown that you're seeing is actually a little bit of the smoky flavor from coming from the egg. So she's going to try a little bit. It's hot, isn't it?
Yes.
Give me a piece.
Oh. I can't. It's too hot.
Anyway. Here we go. All I can say is this. Oh my. Beer can chicken.
Them's good chickens.
Enjoy it, people. And I think we're going to let that wrap up the first ever, for whatever reason, food video. Enjoy, folks. Bye.
Bye.